Slovakia. But anyway, going back to verse 24, it says, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs should, and the fountains should stand still, and in 3 hours they should not run, right? Because your cities, okay, your particular utilities, your gas, your heat, your light, whatever you want to call it, man, these particular reclamation plants, they're going to go offline. Why? Because they're not going to have city workers or municipality workers to go in and work. Okay, because nobody's going to be going to work during the time of a civil war or martial law is in the streets and you got chaos or an anarchy glow erupting all over the place. Nobody's going to be thinking about going no fucking 9 to 5 in that day. Here you got a civil war. Homes are getting broken into. Cars are getting set on fire. People getting gunned down mercilessly in the streets. Okay, people are getting kidnapped left and right. You hearing screams all over the place, but you worried about going to work at 9 to 5. No, it's not going to be how it is, man. Okay, and it says here, in 3 hours they should not run. And whosoever remaineth from all these things that I have told thee should escape and see my salvation at the end of your world. Okay, because the scriptures say he who endured to the end, the same shall be saved. All right, so this is 2 Ezra 9:1. It says, and he answered me and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I've told thee before, then shalt thou understand that this is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, okay, you got protesters and riots all over the place. Like, we type this in right quick. Let's look at this. Riots and protests worldwide. Let's see. Global protest tracker, okay. Social unrest is rising, adding risk to global economy. Let's see what it says here. This is a global protest tracker. Let's see what it says. It says, over 230 significant anti-government protests have erupted worldwide. More than 110 countries have experienced significant protests. 78% of authoritarian or authoritarian-leaning countries have faced significant protests, and over 25 significant protests have been directly related to the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, and all these are basically violent, large, active, long outcome COVID. We could just do all, because everywhere you see, these are all protests, man, all around the world. And the Lord said it. He said you should see wars and rumors of wars, man. Kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Okay. And you got Afghanistan anti-Taliban protests, electoral protests, commander sword protests, and this is going back years. But even then, you got the 2022 election protests. Okay, Kirchner persecution protests, economic crisis protests in Argentina. Argentina is turning up, man. Wow. Bangladesh. And this is just to name a few, man. This list is hella long. But what about you stupid ass Americans, man? And I'm going to have to do a lesson on that in itself, because that's some heavy information. But it says here, then therefore, when thou shouldst be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then it says, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For it's like that is all that is made in the world hath an end, beginning and an end. The end is made manifest. So even so, the times and the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works ending in effects and signs. Okay, and that's the point, man. Going back, it says, and everyone that should be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye believe. And you people, you don't believe, man. Okay, you had people that turned their back on the Lord and the minute of the Lord at the last minute, man. This is the last minute. This is the worst time to go back into the folly, man. Because the scripture says should neither strengthen themselves in the iniquity of his life. Okay, so the folly that you people are living, you think you got a couple of seconds left to shoot the jump shot, whatever you want to call it, and you think that's going to sustain you. Or, you know, if I go ahead and stack up some canned goods, or I save up 20, 30 bands, you know, that's going to feed me for the time being. No, you're like an algae eater. You're going to constantly consume until you can't consume anymore, man. And then that's when the Most High is going to judge you. Okay? Here's 2 Ezra 15, and we'll end it. You can read Matthew's 12:2. Satan against Satan. How can his kingdom stand? A kingdom divided against itself. So this is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and destruction draweth nigh. For one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. That's civil war. For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. This is going to be neighbors, okay? People that you once knew, family members, you know, ate dinner, broke bread. And these going to be the same people that's going to rob and come and get you because they know what you got, okay? It says, destruction drawing nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Right, because people going to say, fuck this government. Because when they go down there to them polls tomorrow, and they realize that these particular candidates are not going to bail them out of their situations, people are going to say, fuck it, and they're going to take it to the streets. Okay, because people are tired of living below their means, so to speak. Because according to them, this is a great old America, the home of the free, the land of the brave, which that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, but it says their actions shall stand in their own power, and the men should desire to go into a city and should not be able because they're going to declare martial law. This is going to get that bad. They're going to use that to bring order back to the streets of America because it's going to get that fucked up out here. And then you got to worry about the military coming in and putting you down, man. Okay, because they're going to be a just as big a threat as the people out here killing people, you know? And it says, for because of that pride, the city should be troubled and the houses should be destroyed and men should be afraid. And the man should have no pity upon his neighbor, but should destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. So we in them times, brothers, man. So, hey, I'm going to end it there, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and the Bible ball. Shalom.